Trusted equipment backed by service. Safer patient outcomes begin with the right equipment and the right partner behind it. That's why we created the MVP program, our commitment to being your most valuable partner in every procedure. When you start using IMP patient protective pads or SteriBump, our sterile surgical bump, you unlock more than just great products. You gain discounted repairs to keep costs down, free loaner equipment to keep you up and running, product discounts to maximize your investment, a 1-year new product warranty, and the exceptional service and support you've come to rely on, delivered by a team that's with you every step of the way. It's more than just a service plan. It's our commitment to stand behind you with best-in-class support, because reliable equipment means safer outcomes for your patients. That's the MVP standard. It's service when you need it, support that's seamless, and protection that's built in so you can focus on what matters most, patient safety. Talk to your IMP representative or visit impmedical.com/MVP to become an MVP today. Because when you invest in IMP, we invest in you.
Family, it's 8 o'clock. Y'all know what that means, right? It's time to talk. Again, big shout out to IMP. If you have not reached out to your rep, definitely reach out. That MVP program is definitely worth partnering with, and you get that most valuable partner. Again, not somebody who's just there to give you something, sell you something, but you get a partner in moving and driving your department in the right direction. Big shout out to you for being here. Again, y'all have made this one of the biggest seasons so far. And I can tell you that just from a CEU perspective, the response has been overwhelmingly positive, and I appreciate being able to bring that to you. But I'm able to do that because you show up here each and every week, engaged and willing to tell us what it is you need, what it is you are getting from these shows, and the interaction with you and the guests have been nothing but phenomenal, which is why it brought me to this show today. We've talked everything from regulatory to staff training to policies to advocacy. We've gone through the whole gambit this season. So with saying all of that, now we start to slowly see what those changes are bringing about. And what I want to say is that innovation in sterile processing isn't just about shiny new technology or faster cycles. It's about changing the way we think, actually. Every tray, every process, every patient outcome starts with someone willing to ask the question, can we do this a little bit better? True innovation happens when technicians, leaders, and educators come together to solve real-world problems. Streamlining those workflows, improving safety, and empowering people who rarely get seen but always make the difference. We always have that feeling, right, that we're not seen. Nobody understands what we do. Everybody says it, but we're the ones who make the difference. So what we're talking about tonight is not just what's new in sterile processing. We're talking about what's next. Did you catch that? It's not about what's new. It's about what's next. Because the future of this field won't be built by chance. It'll be built by those bold enough to bold enough to innovate, bold enough to take us to that next plateau of where we're at. And when we're talking about those things, you see the shiny, the brand new. I could talk about BIs that have a shorter cycle now. I could talk about, electronic Boy Dicks. I could talk about even people that know me. I could talk about turbid surgical. I could talk about all these things that are being introduced into the workflow to bring forth efficiency, to bring forth more productivity, because that's the innovation. It's not always about the way we have always done it. You know, people talk about that phrase and it drives a lot of directors and managers crazy. Like, I'm trying to change a culture, but everybody's always doing the same things. I'm trying to change a culture. They talk about that culture. So innovation is just that. It's not about the actual equipment. It's about somebody questioning, how can I? What is the next iteration of this? How can I make something better? And when we talk innovation, I wanted to talk to people who are doing some things in sterile processing that are above the norm or outside of the box, or, they're taking things that they've seen and say, hey, I can do that a little bit better, whether that's running a school or introducing a piece of equipment. Innovation comes from those people on the ground, front line, and ready to make a difference. So since I'm talking about innovation, I want to show you a video, and then we're going to talk about what this innovation has done for the industry and what it could possibly do for the industry. So because I'm talking innovation, let's watch this video together and just see what this piece of innovation can do. Wow. I know y'all saw that, right? We're talking about RST Automation, one of the leaders in innovation for sterile processing. What you just saw was their AIM system. It's the tray assembly, it's the peel pack, and the storage. I know you saw that. They were putting together trays without having to pre-sort. They were putting together trays without having to separate, and the inspection process and everything. And the key thing that I saw, it even strings the tray for you in the right order. If you've not seen that system, it is something that is definitely a game changer. I personally had the experience of working with it. I brought it into my facility, so I can tell you firsthand that if done right, it does work. It's one of those innovative things that you sit back and be like, I wish I had this as I was coming up as a tech. But I'm not going to talk about it too long. I'm going to let one of the people that's there out in the field every day showing us the innovation talk about it. So from RST, I asked my friend, Mr. Chris Salkowitz, to come here and let's talk about it. So as we do here on the family channel, let's actually welcome Chris to the platform.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Thanks so much for having me, Kenneth.
Chris, hey, it's a pleasure you being here, sir. I definitely want to, get into the innovation because I know people saw that and it's like, wait, did that do what I thought I think it did? But I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself for the people here that don't know who you are.
Okay, I'm Christopher Salkowitz, Director of Sales of RST Automation, LLC. Our company's been around for over 11 years, about 6 years out of beta testing, and we're being integrated in facilities across the country. We're present at all of the conferences from ORMC to HSPA, and AORN. We are everywhere, talking to everybody that are dealing with the consequences of sticking with the same processes over and over on both ends. So we've worked from SPD directors up to perioperative, and worked from perioperative back down to SPD directors, and we found out that people aren't communicating enough to actually dive into the qualitative and quantitative benefits behind using automation inside their sterile processing teams.
So with that being said, I watched the video, and I know my family here watched the video, and we saw you not have to we're going to talk about the tray assembly first, because that's the one that blows people's mind away. With that system, can you explain the concept of what that system is?
Yeah, the concept is it's using artificial intelligence mixed with machine vision to optically recognize instrumentation. So no longer are people needing to identify each instrument, and we're getting analytics because the system is able to record data every single time it scans the instrument. So you put an instrument in there, it takes about 2 seconds for the system to realize what it is, and technicians can take the time to look for bioburden and scan each individual item. And the SPM software, or the instrument management software, is integrated, so there's no more checking off each item individually as the tray is being processed. So everything is done automatically. We have a benchmark set at 10 seconds per instrument, and there's no need for anybody to race against the clock to try to fight it. So we're increasing efficiency by 50 to 80%. It shows in all the labor savings, and studies that I have published on LinkedIn and in podcasts I've done on LinkedIn with several different publications, all shoot to the same exact statistics, that $50 billion a year is being lost in hospitals because of incorrect instruments or misplaced instruments inside of surgical tray assemblies. So it's really doing a number on the entire hospital systems, and hospitals are closing across the country. We see it happening all the time. It's on the news.
Now, I'm speaking from experience because I've actually honestly seen it, but when you talk about identifying instruments and learning instruments, so you're telling me that from a standpoint of user friendly and accessibility, theoretically, I technically don't have to know what the instrument is immediately to actually use this system.
That's correct. I've been at a conference and I had not physically used the system before at all, and I presented the tray assembly system to a VP of perioperative services, doing the entire presentation while using the system and inspecting the instruments. Not as a professional, I'd never stepped foot in a sterile processing room before in my life, and my time was 8.57 seconds per instrument as I presented it to her. So this is that plus it's $200,000 per OR per year that's being lost because of incorrect or misplaced instruments in surgical tray assembly. So, I mean, the math and everything it's a no-brainer.
I like that a lot. And then from a standpoint of a director mindset, if I can train people on it, I get accuracy of trays, and it's a learning system. So it's not like once I input something, I can't add something else. Or if it's this type of instrument, then it identifies that instrument for that tech. So
Correct.
it can be a training tool as well.
Correct. Yeah, there's a training module built into the AIM tray assembly system where they could choose, the technician can choose one out of four of the instruments, and it keeps a log of their progress as they continue to get better. So you don't need a helicopter SPD manager looking over somebody's shoulder, or educators worried about things. And same thing with peel pack. You can have somebody that knows nothing about instruments and have complete consistency 100% of the time, and the entire SPD department completely organized because all the labels come out correct and
But
and perfect every time.
I was gonna get into that one next. Like that peel pack machine, again, as a former user, I can tell you that it actually does increase the productivity. I've seen it firsthand that people who do peel packs, because it has that I forgot what you called it, but it identifies the instruments.
Division
You said
board.
there, the machine assists with the identification. I've seen it firsthand that it actually speeds up that process. And I think the neat thing about the peel pack machine is, and you didn't mention it, but the peel pack actually cuts the correct size peel pack every time.
Exactly.
So it cuts down on the waste.
Exactly. And I mean, but material waste is really trivial. But if you have prepackaged peel packets, that's expensive. And anybody that's been in SPD has seen a wastebasket full of miscut trays from measuring
Right.
and things like that. And this is just minutes turning into hours. And once you get to 150 instruments a day, you're saving at least one FTE every single year using the tray assembly. So it's, again, a no-brainer.
That's what I was about to ask you, because I know people are going to look at this and say, okay, all right, I get the efficiency, I get this, that, and the third, and the machine is doing a lot of the work. So let me ask you this. How can automation, I'm going to call this robotics, but I know that it's AI, right? So how can automation and AI enhance workflow efficiency and accuracy and instrument reprocessing without compromising accountability, though?
Without compromising accountability?
Yes.
Well,
Because it
I
seems like
mean,
you said, like the machine does, like I would say 95% of the work for you in this case.
right. It's just that people are trying to make a case for antiquated processes, but you could work at the optimal pace all the time without stressing it, so I'm trying to have that conversation with all of the leaders, and nobody has time to have the conversation. But if I can give you double the output and half the amount of time and half the cost, I mean, there's more money in it to be made for sterile processing technicians. There's less management needed on the management side, and the perioperative side receives correct instrumentation every single time. So it's just we just need to keep having that conversation.
I think that's the biggest part. And Angela says, welcome, by the way, Angela. I saw you in there. Sharon, I saw you out of Dallas, Fort Worth. I see y'all. I appreciate y'all. Angela says it's an amazing tool to incorporate into that training process, because what you just said is that you don't need somebody standing over somebody's shoulder. You don't need those extra people that you're taking away from the floor to help this person do ABC, because you're already having that technology help them in real time.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about the storage system. So then I've seen the tray assembly. We talked about the peel pack. Let's talk about the storage system. How does the storage system play into this from a technology standpoint?
Well, the storage system is just a different embodiment of the other systems. They can all communicate amongst each other. So if you have an incomplete surgical tray, the surgical tray can communicate with the storage system and tell you exactly which drawer is being located in. If there's a vertical storage system that cycles through, there's big hospitals that have like Mayo Clinic and stuff like that. They have big,
Right.
huge, like $1 million systems, vertical storage systems, and it's able to index it in the correct order. So it could be on the 100. If you had to pull the items individually, you'd have to pull it from the 150th tray, and then the first tray, and then the 50th tray.
Right.
And it would go in that order. But this would be able to queue up the items and pull them in the exact order, so it pulls them out automatically. And the tray assembly system also gives you a shopping list. If there's missing instruments, you just put, what's missing, you push it, and it prints out a little shopping list, and you go grab it in one shot. So there's no running back and forth every single time you find out that the tray is empty and you still need another instrument.
Hey, family, I know y'all heard the benefits of this system. I know y'all seen the capabilities of what it could do. Now, what I would say is this. It is a training mechanism that actually does improve your efficiency and productivity. I've seen it firsthand, but you have to be willing to actually incorporate it into your process. And that's where he said, we're not going to keep beating down those systems, those antiquated processes, and just keep doing the same old thing. This is something that's going to get you out of that habit and show you a different way. So you have to be willing to incorporate the technology as well. We talk about, what workflows look like, what culture looks like, and people say, well, we do the same old thing, blah, blah, blah. This is one of those things that'll get you out of that. So, Chris, I appreciate you coming on and talking to us a few minutes about what RST is and what has it now. Tell us something that's, what's on the horizon for RST. Where are we headed next?
Oh, wow. That's a really exciting discussion. We've got research being done in Canada right now, and all of the biggest third-party processing companies are at it, but we're trying to get our automated technology to detect bioburden that's on instrumentation. So
I like that.
Theoretically speaking, if we can get our machine vision to recognize bioburden that's on instrumentation, it would literally be a law that every hospital would have to have one of these systems in their facility to detect it, because it's unsafe. It's unsafe opening up operating rooms when they're going to get new instruments and everything like that. So they would actually have to have it in every single system, and then it'd be a multi-billion-dollar industry. But you'd have to start out with the same exact platform to get started. It's going to be based off the same exact platform. So people need to start here. This it's not a novelty item, it's a necessity. So I don't understand how people aren't incorporating it and integrating with these systems immediately.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, and I know you I know we have, you like joking with me. I know you do, but if I'm hearing you correctly, if I set the instrument on the tray assembly process, when it does that scan to say what that instrument is, it could potentially say, hey, kick that back, bioburden present.
Yes,
Something of that.
that's all theoretical now. We can't cross
Okay.
that bridge yet. I mean, everybody's licking their chops about that, but we haven't crossed that bridge yet. We're really hoping. We got our fingers crossed, but we're hoping that's where it goes. But for the time being, we're making sure that nobody picks up five looped instruments at the same exact time and inspects them and games the system and scans out a tray assembly, a surgical tray before it's done.
Okay.
Without actually inspecting all the instruments correctly. So it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
I have a question for you from one of
Sure.
I have a question for you from one of our listeners, and Sharon says, does AIM double the efficacy of educators and keep up with the paperwork as well?
Yes, because when you're putting it in training mode, it's actually keeping track of the technician's progress. So as they're learning this instrumentation, it's going to show them a progress report as they go. So you can stick somebody that's never been in an SPD before and somebody that would need 6 months to assemble a 150 instrument tray can now do it, effortlessly without any worries. So it's not about, I don't know if I could say doubling it as far as a stat, but no, they don't have to stick around and be over their shoulders. It's now something that can be signed to somebody without worry.
She says, I was just wondering, because my educator friends working so hard to keep up with all the competencies and the paperwork and the onboarding, et cetera, if the machine is keeping track of the paperwork as the students or new hires or whoever is using the machine, is that categorized and that paperwork is kept one place, so the educator just has to pull a file?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And we can keep track of that as well. So it's all the best data that's available live all the time on a daily basis. So nobody has sterile processing data until they actually have per instrument, per technician data from AIM systems.
Okay, I appreciate that. Chris, I do appreciate you coming on and giving us a brief look into RST. How can the people find you if they don't have RST in their facility or they're trying to find out more information? How can they find you, sir?
I encourage them to check out my LinkedIn. I have all my podcasts and everything broadcasted on LinkedIn. You see my name here, Christopher Salkowitz. Follow the RST Automation page as well on LinkedIn, and you'll see interviews with HPN Online, with Beyond Sterile. You'll see publications from Peter Graves, who's an advocate of ours as well, that speaks at all the trade shows, and you'll see me at every single conference across the country. Always, we are always around and always available, working very, very hard.
I appreciate that, family. Definitely go check out Chris on LinkedIn. Follow the RST Automation LinkedIn page. If you haven't seen the technology, schedule that demo so you can actually see it up close and personal, so that you can see what that benefit does for your facility. As he said, the paperwork is categorized. The training now doesn't need to be somebody over somebody's shoulder, so you gain that FTE back. These are things that it can do for you. Chris, I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you coming and stopping by. Let's chat soon. Family, this
Absolutely.
has been Chris from RST Automation. When we come back, we'll be speaking with some more innovation, and we'll talk about that as we get back. Chris,
thank you, Kenneth.
sir.
Thank you, Kenneth. I love you very much. Thank you, IMP. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in July. Okay.
Yes,
Take
thank
care.
you, sir.
God bless and be well.
Yes, thank you.
In a world overflowing with noise, are you truly being heard? Or better yet, are you truly listening? Kenneth Campbell, industry author and expert in sterilization, is back with his latest book, Learn to Listen, so others are willing to talk. This book isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding, connecting, and building trust. Whether you're leading a team, navigating relationships, or simply striving for better conversations, these practical strategies will transform the way you communicate. Imagine a world where every conversation leads to deeper connections, resolved conflicts, and greater influence. It's possible when you learn to listen. Are you ready to elevate your communication and create meaningful relationships? Learn to listen, so others are willing to talk. Available now.
Family, I know y'all seen that, right? Great innovation. If you haven't seen it, definitely reach out to them. Great product. I like I said, I was a user before I actually, can actually speak on it. I had to see it up close for myself. So definitely check that out. So what else in that world of innovation is out there that we can talk about? I know we did a show recently, and then I want to talk about that. When clean isn't really clean. How do you know these things, right? So I went looking for stuff, and I saw something that I'm curious about that I want to have somebody talk about. It's called the barrier buddy system. That's just one of those things, the barrier buddy system. If y'all know what it is, we're about to find out in a little bit. What happens when you want to step out and you want to bring new things to the forefront and you make your own lane? What does that look like? But today I'm going to bring somebody who's going to tell you exactly what that looks like. And she's not only her name, but she's here with us today, and she's going to come in and explain what this really means when I say the barrier buddy system, when clean isn't really clean. She's going to talk a little bit about that. I want to first, as we always do, can we please welcome none other than Miss Nicole Simon to the platform.
Hi, how's it going?
Big round of applause. Big round of applause. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. As we always do, I just want to make sure that people get to actually know who you are. They've seen you LinkedIn posts, Facebook posts. You're everywhere. So for those people who haven't been on social media and haven't seen what you're doing now, could you tell them a little bit about Nicole?
Well, a little bit about my journey
Yeah.
in sterile processing. I started in sterile processing in 2017 down in Sarasota, Florida. I spent 2 years as a permanent technician. I got experience at a few hospitals, and then I decided to start traveling. And when I started traveling, I started to get a real picture of the issues that are common across the board, no matter where you go. And one of the problems that I kept running into, no matter where I was, were the challenges that technicians face when they are inspecting cannulated devices on the clean side of sterile processing. Because at first sight, you don't know if it's clean or dirty on the inside. Until you get into that inspection process, it's when you're in the middle of that is when you find out. So there's a risk of cross-contamination. There's a risk of
Right.
coming into contact with potentially infectious material. And so there was a facility I was traveling to, and it was daily that I was experiencing this. I was coming across dirty cannulated instruments. And so I guess I developed kind of an obsession in the fact that like I needed to determine a solution for this.
Okay.
And so, and my husband, Josh, is also a sterile processing technician. So we took contracts together. So he knew about my frustration. And together we were kind of like fashioning things, putting things together to create containment, create barrier when we were, inspecting cannulated devices on the clean side. And so then, I had the idea. We made little prototypes and started making drawings. My husband is also an artist, so he started making these drawings, and I kind of sat on the idea after that for a little while because anybody can come up with an idea,
Right.
but it's what do you do with it um, past that? And so I sat on the idea for a while, and then I realized I have a big network. I've got people that I can reach out to for advice. So I reached out to Hank Balch with Beyond Clean, and I set up a phone call with him just to kind of, pick his brain about, hey, what could I possibly do, or do you know what to do next? Because I am a Beyond Clean advisory group member as well. So he actually said that he felt confident in my idea and thought that there was a possibility that it was viable. So he introduced me to my business partner, Jeff Berger. And Jeff is an engineer by trade. So he has strength in the areas that I don't have so much knowledge about. And then I have strength in the things that he doesn't have so much knowledge about. So we
Right.
make a great team and that we can fill in the gaps for each other. He's also studying to become a patent agent. So he has been very helpful and almost critical in those areas of, helping me to design the computer design for the barrier buddy, getting those drawings digitized, and then also, applying for the provisional patent.
Right. 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 Right.
And so it's the partnership has really been what has helped to kickstart this journey. And so Simon Sterilization Solutions was, it was formed based on the fact that I had a solution for a problem that I personally experienced as an end user in sterile processing.
Right.
So, you know, it's been quite a journey. You when you start a business and you know nothing about entrepreneurship besides the fact that you're an entrepreneur,
Right.
um, like everything in this journey has been a learning curve for me. But it's something that I'm so determined about. I'm so passionate about sterile processing as an industry, the people, the processes, the challenges that we face, that I couldn't not do something. And we have to be innovative. It is up to us. And nobody knows better than us,
Right.
when we're working in the department day in and day out, facing these challenges. And so, I like to see people safe. I like to see people happy. And if I could make the environment better for the people, then I absolutely want to do that. I mean, why would I keep it to myself? So, um we have taken the Barrier Buddy from idea to market.
Okay.
We took the Barrier Buddy to market in March. We have made 6 sales. We are an approved supplier in 7 different healthcare systems.
That's an
It's
accomplishment. That's an
incredible.
accomplishment. Yes. Yes.
Listen, like I've surprised myself, but I've also surprised Jeff. Because if you know anything about value analysis, which I didn't really know much about until I took this journey, but there's people struggling for years and years and years to get their products approved. And I
Yes.
think that the reason why it was, I don't want to say easy, but why it happened so quickly is because it's novel.
Right.
And I'll go into the Barrier Buddy and what exactly it does. So the
I
Barrier
was about to get
Buddy,
there. I was like, you got us all
yeah.
excited now. Like we want to know
So
what Barrier
yeah.
Buddy, what does it do?
So the Barrier Buddy system is very simple. It's a simple device for a complex problem. What it does is it contains materials produced or potentially produced during that inspection process on the clean side of sterile processing.
Okay, so
Okay.
I
So
have a
whatever
cannula. I have
Mhm.
a cannula.
Yeah.
On the clean side, after it comes out, I want to check it.
Yep.
So I use the Barrier Buddy.
Yes.
Okay.
You insert the distal tip of the cannulated instrument or device into the top, and then you proceed with your modality of inspection. That could be the use of a borescope. A lot of people don't think about that because it's visual inspection, but this is where I take it is once you insert that flexible camera down the cannula, that is contaminated if the instrument is contaminated. So the last thing you want to do is pull that camera back out because what are you doing? Like there's a potential to cross contaminate. And that's why I like health marks. And I'm not trying to promote products here, but Their borescope, the camera unplugs. So when you're using the barrier buddy and you're threading that camera down the cannula and it's dirty, you just unplug it and then you can send everything contained back to decontamination. They can take it apart, they can clean everything appropriately. And so yeah, so that's the thing I like to say about the borescope, and being able to use it with the barrier buddy. Other modalities of inspection, you know, flush inspection. Some departments use sterile water on the clean side,
Yes.
which there are cannulas that are too small in diameter for a borescope. So though borescope is probably best practice, it can't fit down every diameter. So for those things that are extremely little, you would need to use flush inspection. And so using flush inspection on the clean side is possible now because it's contained. All the fluid that would come out or potential debris that could come out if the instrument was not cleaned properly is going to be contained. And then you can safely send everything back to decontam.
Oh, wow. So I can tell you just by you saying it out loud, I don't think I'm not going to say I don't think anybody. I think a lot of people don't consider what happens if the borescope actually sees something inside of the cannula.
Yeah.
I don't think they think that. I don't think they think about that. So now that you've said it, I'm like running through my head. I'm like, I've seen people put the borescope down and say, "Hey, that's dirty," but they just pull it right out. So you're right.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things where you can. Okay, so even to the point of what you just said, if somebody uses the flush method, the barrier actually holds the fluid from that dirty so that it doesn't spread anywhere.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So
Angela said that's a hard task. Great job. What I'm going to do is I'm going to surprise you now. We're going to show the video.
Okay.
The barrier so that people can see exactly what you're saying. Because I'm curious myself again
Perfect.
to see it in real time. Because so we have the barrier there. It was there. Okay.
There it is.
We got to move it up a little bit more.
Yep.
But yes. Oh, there we go.
And then you can make it bigger too. There you go.
Okay, I like that. So now my question is this. It's each one of those per, I guess that would be somebody's question. So is that one per instrument? Is it reusable until they find something dirty? How does that work? I
So
couldn't really see the steps there, so I want to make sure that people understand that part.
So when in the event, obviously, that you would find a contaminated instrument, everything stays contained, including whatever modality of inspection, returning to decontam. If you're using flush inspection, but the fluid has come out clean,
Right.
then you can continue to use the same barrier buddy, but not allowing the instrument to touch the fluid inside. And then once it fills up to a level where you could no longer inspect another instrument without it touching the fluid, then it needs to be returned to decontam and exchanged out. You can also use these if you have instrument air on the clean side, which I recommend.
So the question is, so I heard you say it, so it goes to decon. So these are reusable.
They're reusable. So at this point in time, because we're not at, heavy volume of orders yet, we were able to use items or materials rather that are reusable.
Okay.
Sustainability was something that I considered when I designed the Barrier Buddy. So being able to reuse something because sterile processing, because surgical services produce the most waste in a healthcare system, I wanted to try to reduce the amount of waste that we're producing while creating a product that was useful.
Okay. So in that aspect, I did see, and then there's little rules you have in there, like if you have the fluid in it, don't use the area in it, because from the top is not, is it a, I couldn't really see, but are they sticking the instrument through just a lid, or is it possible for blowback, which is why you said don't use air on the same one?
So the top has slits in the top so that
Okay.
it can fit a variety of different diameter cannulated devices.
Okay.
Um, so if you had used flush inspection, then you wouldn't want to then use air because it's at 30 psi. There's gonna create an opportunity for it to splash up out of the
Okay.
Barrier Buddy. Um, so yeah, you would want to use a separate Barrier Buddy designated for your instrument air, separate from the one that you're using for your other modalities of inspection.
And Angela thinks like a true sterile processing person, and she is asking the question everybody's gonna ask. The
Yes.
IFU. What does the
Yep.
IFU state for cleaning and all of that kind of stuff, so that people understand it?
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought it up. Thanks, Angela. So when we originally designed the Barrier Buddy, it had a solid bottom. So
Okay.
one of the things that we did when we were innovating uh, is we made it so that it was three pieces. So the bottom comes off, the top comes off for ease of cleaning. It can be, you would put it through your 3-sink system, and then it is compatible with washer disinfector cycles. So you can run everything through the washer. And then, you would monitor the wear and tear. If it's cloudy, marred, cracked, tears, anything like that, it's time to dispose of and get new.
That's what I was gonna ask. Does it have a certain number of uses, or but it's basically visual inspection to see
Yes.
when it starts looking a little,
Yeah.
that you use it, then it's
Yeah.
time to change it. Okay. So there you have people. Think about that. You now have a way that on your clean side, you're not potentially cross-contaminating everything in your station. It actually made you think about the use of a borescope in a cannulated item, and if that item is dirty, what are you doing there? So that piece alone, I think, is worth the actual try of this product, because you're absolutely right. Until you actually said it out loud, and I've seen people use their borescope and see dirty stuff, but it always gets pulled out, and then that item goes back to decon. And I'm not 100% sure I've seen them wipe down the borescope after that. So therefore, yes, you brought a good thing to the forefront there. So that is definitely worth the conversation alone. So
Yeah.
now let me ask you this: for all intents and purposes, where does Nicole and the team and the company go to next, since we're in this innovative space? What's
Well,
next?
I've really discovered through this process that I love product development. We actually have a couple of other products in development at this time. So it's very exciting because, we've got the Barrier Buddy, but I feel like the more useful products we can put out, the more credibility we're going to earn in the industry.
Yes.
You know, the journey, the vision for the journey keeps changing always.
Oh, believe me.
Yeah. So where I started with the vision is completely different than what it is today. And part of what I want to do is I see opportunity for services that are not being provided.
Yes.
And I see opportunity for unique ways to provide those services.
Yes.
So currently, we are working on, along with the product development side, being able to bring services in a unique way to the industry. And with all of that, sterile processing is a passion of mine. And
Yes.
forever and ever, I will always be a sterile processing technician, no matter what my role is, what capacity I play in the field. But obviously, I want to give back to an industry that I found my why in. And so I'm also working on standing up a nonprofit. So a percentage of all of our sales from products and services can go towards educational opportunities. It can go into the Simon Sterilization Education Foundation. And that way we can provide educational opportunities for sterile processing technicians by a sterile processing technician.
I was about to say, Sarah just said solutions being created by the professionals themselves.
Yes.
I love it. And I think that's why every time I go somewhere, and everybody knows I work for, the company I work for. So
Mm-hmm.
I go somewhere with Turbot and we introduce the product, it be the techs in the room that say, I could have created this. And
Yeah.
and so when you get into those professionals, like Sarah said, when the solutions are being created by the frontline workers, the frontline users, the end user, that's normally where you see these innovations coming from, is because it was somebody who was there like, how can I do this better?
Right.
What can I change about this process that'll help me help somebody else? And I
Exactly.
do love the idea of you doing the nonprofit and giving back. That is actually a lot of what I think we're missing.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
to be quite honest, I think a lot of that is what we're missing, and hence why I do some of the things I do, is giving people platforms to speak and do that kind of stuff, because that's where we actually put the emphasis back on the professionals that actually do the job. So
Right.
that's why I love that. But from, like I said, from a perspective of where you're at now, and I hear the growth, I hear what you're doing, and we love it. How can people reach out to you? How do people reach out to you if they want the product or want a demo of the product and things like that?
So you can reach out to me by email, Nicole@SimonSterilizationSolutions.com. Visit the website to learn more about the products. And, as we roll out services, you'll be able to see updates on the website as well. And always, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn.
And that's how I did. Hey, I found her on LinkedIn. I reached out to her. We have her here. I can tell you that she's going to be seen a little bit more places, as I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. But she is coming to a bigger platform to give y'all some more education and things like that. So definitely be on the lookout for Nicole. She's a mover and a shaker. The game is actually being shaped by people like this right here, who are doing things that further the industry along. Nicole, as I always tell people, what parting words can you give somebody who is just in that same mindset of you, sitting in the department like, there's something that I can do, something that can be done, and they don't know where to turn? I know you had mentors. You're part of the same advisory groups I'm part of, so you have those other outlets. What about that person who doesn't have that? What advice would you give to them to get them to that next level?
Well, that's something with the product development side that I've enjoyed so much, is I love helping others. So we have the infrastructure. We've built out the infrastructure. We are an approved supplier and vendor, and we want to offer our platform to other people in the industry and beyond that have ideas for products. We can help you bring your products from idea to market.
Y'all heard it here first. Look, now you actually have a platform where you can go with your idea and have industry professionals that's in the same place, that was in the same place as you, help you try to get that idea to be reality. Because now there's no excuse for you to say, I don't know what to do. She's giving you a place to go. Star says she loves it. Everybody's like, hey, this is a pretty unique thing here. And I actually, when I saw it, and I was sitting here like, where was this, when all these contaminations and all this stuff was happening, and people, now they have something. I saw you celebrated your first repeat customer.
Yes.
I saw that. Repeat customers are always great. Repeat customers are always great. Again, Nicole Simon, she's here. Y'all see it on the screen, Simon Sterilization Solutions. If you don't know about them, reach out to them, get the demo of the product. I know she's willing to come out, talk to you, all that good stuff.
Yes.
So definitely reach out. Where else can they reach you? Do they go through the website here? I know you said LinkedIn and things like that. Is there any other places they can find you?
Email. I mean, I'm a pretty friendly person if you want to look me up on Facebook, you know. But yeah, I'm always willing to talk to another professional in the industry. So reach out.
Definitely. Hey, Nicole, I appreciate you. I thank you so much for coming on and sharing, because that has opened our eyes to a different thing that we probably didn't even know we needed. But now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. It's one of those things. Now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So you're like, okay, now my borescope is dirty. So what do I do now? But now you've given them solutions for that. And I appreciate you. We will be talking again soon. I'm going to announce a little bit of that here toward the end of the show, but definitely wanted to make sure that we got you on and let people see what you are doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a great time.
And definitely you will see her on a bigger stage. We're going to talk about that when I come back from this commercial, but definitely, hey, Nicole, thank you. Family, right after this commercial, let's get into some more details.
Do you want greater success and satisfaction in your career? Do you have ideas that you desire to contribute? Then it's time to invest in you. Imagine you building and managing a high-performance team, managing conflict and difficult conversations, understanding financial management and budgeting, creating and implementing strategic plans, building and maintaining relationships with stakeholders. Our programs are designed and tailored for individuals seeking to grow and succeed in their leadership roles. UCDI's Change the Narrative Progressive Leadership is a mid-level leadership program designed specifically to develop the skills and knowledge necessary to take on greater leadership responsibilities in a sustainably scalable format. So, if you're tired of seeing ineffective processes, unhealthy work distribution, lack of follow-through and accountability, and you want to be an answer for yourself and for your team, then this is the program for you. Contact UCDI Leadership at info@ucdileadership.com or text LEADERSHIP to 214-717-5921. The future depends on many things, but mostly it depends on you.
Family, oh my goodness, that was amazing. If you saw the product or you saw the video there, it does give you that different way to check those items before you contaminate everything around you. Definitely reach out to Nicole and her team. And again, look, the added benefit that when you're sitting in these apartments now and you think of something, you don't have to just say, what if? They're giving you a platform to possibly bring that to market to see if it's something that could be used across the board. Great job with her and her team are doing over there. Just being transparent, my other two people are caught in the departments. So we're going to talk about something else, but I wanted to give them a shout out anyway, just because they were texting me during the show just to let me know that they were in the departments and they couldn't get away. One of those is Steam Vision, Sterile Geeks VR. For people that know me, they know that, Steam Vision is going to be bringing a new and fascinating way to actually do trays with minimal steps being, the minimal steps being utilized in the department. It's a VR goggle headset that's going to be bringing sterile processing to the forefront of that AI movement, similar to what AIM is doing. They're using that AI assisted technology to help you even put together trays using a mix of mixed reality, where you get to actually have the goggle on, using the virtual world, but actually seeing what's in front of you in a mixed reality setting. So I'm very excited about the future of Steam Vision and Sterile Geeks VR. So that will be coming. I'm still going to try to get them on so he can explain what that looks like. The other piece of what I had some of the schools out there. I wanted to have them come and talk about their programs and what they're doing. What I've seen and what I've been hearing across the board is that there are a lot of schools out there that aren't, I'm not saying names because I don't know them personally, but there are a lot of schools that may teach but don't do an externship, or they don't follow the book the way they're supposed to be doing. I saw some people, in these school programs, and they were going to come and talk about their particular programs just so you could see where they're at with the standards, with the regulatory, and how they're getting these students the education they need. I personally have had at least 3 or 4 people reach out to our chapter trying to find ways to get their externship and get hours and things like that. So we are actively looking to help them get their hours because they went to a school who did not offer that, but yet took and got loans and all these type of things. And, I don't want to call it money grabs and anything like that, but that's what they were calling it. They were saying they felt like they got done a disservice because they didn't actually get the full gambit of what that going to a program looks like. And I just want everybody to know that that's not where we're at. That's not what we're trying to promote. We want people to actually get in the business, to stay in the business. I have had people that are discouraged because they went to one of these schools and now can't get hired anywhere because they don't have the hours. Same thing. So I want to make sure that is what, we're promoting around here, and we're going to do that. So Simone, I'm glad you showed up anyway. The innovation and what's changing in our industry is an important topic to me as well, only because I know that people, when they say, we've always done it this way, that type of thing, we're trying to get away from that. So not saying that the process itself is wrong, but there are things that grow. There are things that change, just like what she said. That's the simplest thing, right? She said, I made it very simple. But when you think about it and look at it, it is something that is needed. So I want to highlight those type of things for people. So that's why what I'm announcing next, and I know some people have seen us on LinkedIn with the announcements from me and my committee, and we are happy to announce that the Time to Talk Extravaganza registration page is now live. You can go there and actually secure your room. Let us know that you're going to be in the building and start preparing for next July. Part of that, I wanted to say that to say there are ways on there that you can make payments, and you don't have to come up with lump sums at one time. All that's included in there because we want to give back to you and make sure that you're in the room. We want to make sure that you can get some of that education. And the reason I'm saying that is because people like Nicole who have a new message, we're going to have her speaking that day. I have doctors in the room that day. So I wanted to give you a little bit of what the extravaganza is because it's a new thing. So the Time to Talk Extravaganza is born out of my mindset of why are we not all in the room having these conversations? We hear people talk about SPD and the OR relationship, or when the doctor's yelling, he calls up the SPD manager and wants to know where his stuff is at. Why is this not right? Why is that not right? But there are more pieces to the puzzle that we all should be talking about. So I wanted to put everybody in the room having the same type of conversations. I wanted the people to hear the frustrations from everybody to make sure that that was what we needed to hear as a collective. So what we did was we brought in nurses, doctors, SPD, surgical techs, EVS, everybody within that perioperative space will be in the room to hear what each other has to say. And we're going from behind the red line to the red carpet. It's a comprehensive 3 days, if you want to call it the whole 3 days. So that Thursday, we are doing our first annual Build-A-Bear event where we're going to donate bears to the 2 children's hospitals of Philadelphia. It's going to be a meet and greet social. So when you arrive to get your room, you'll have your swag bags, you'll get your name tags. But that night, we are actually doing a meet and greet. So you'll get to see some of the other networking people in the room, speakers versus vendors, and everybody actually getting there to have a good time to prepare for what's happening next. That Friday, I have the stage and room filled with dynamic speakers. I know you've seen the list I put out there. Dynamic speakers from across all of the spectrum. We're talking everything from ARN to emotional intelligence and in between. So we're covering every base. I have doctors coming from other states just to come and give you a message about what they're seeing in the rooms and what their innovations have led to bring us to one room to have that conversation. Yes, Nicole is still here. So she'll be there giving us more insight into what she's seen and just putting people in a perspective in a room that they could actually learn from each other and learn how to make things better. That is what we're trying to do. So that's Friday. That Friday night, we're having the All in Good Fun healthcare comedy show with some comedians from across the globe coming in to actually just be there for us. This is a one-of-a-kind setting, one-of-a-kind show that is geared toward just us, the healthcare professional, and it's called the All in Good Fun comedy show. So Saturday, we come back. Still, you've seen the list. I still have some damn dynamic speakers coming up. They're going to be in the room. They're going to do their thing. What I didn't mention was that Friday and Saturday, you have all-day vendors. So I have vendors like Nicole and her company. I have vendors like Turbot. I have vendors from the OR side. I have vendors from all the spectrums coming to show you their products, same as any other vendor show, except for you're not just seeing products geared to one service. You're going to see them from both sides of the gambit in one space for you to actually see what each other hears and sees and what could be beneficial to them, what could be beneficial to you. You're going to see that all in one space. Saturday, after the speeches are done, we give you a long break so you can go get your best of the bestest, your black tie, ball gown, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna get you in that mood because at 6 o'clock that night, the red carpet opens up. What does that mean? You get to actually walk a red carpet where you have all the photographers, you have interviews happening, you have all of these things happening, and you are the star of the show. This is about you, the frontline workers, the nurses in the room, the doctors in the room, the vendors that make it happen behind the scenes. This is your time. This is where all of this now comes together, and you get to see each other for what it is. We are there to actually celebrate you. So that's what the red carpet does. It celebrates you. And the red carpet wouldn't be complete, and it wouldn't be a red carpet if we didn't have an ice sculpture, right? So we got ice sculptures. We got everything happening that's going to be there to make those pictures more memorable than you've ever seen at a conference before. This is what that will be for you. The best part about this whole thing, it is an annual event now. We were able to secure long-term for this, so this is an annual thing. The part that y'all don't see out there is that we actually have awards that we're giving out. There's the Legacy Award for Sterile Processing. There's the Educators Award for somebody in peri-op. And then there's the Service Award that can go from anybody in that peri-op space as well, from an EVS worker all the way up to that nurse or tech in the OR. So we are definitely giving back to the whole gambit. As Sharon just said, the birthplace of American medicine, right? What better place to bring this full circle than to bring it to Philadelphia? So that link is out there. Definitely start now so you can be in the room. We have a room block that you'll see on there when you go to register. It does say book your room. If you do buy the package, the room and stuff is included. So make sure you're looking at those type of things. I'm excited about what the future is bringing for us over here at Time to Talk Studios and everybody. I am actually so excited about what is happening right now. And Nicole says so excited. She's ready. Her team is going to be there. She's a presenter and she's going to have a vendor spot. So everybody's going to be there so you can get the best and most up-to-date information possible for these type of events and things that are happening going forward. Family, I appreciate you all. And, blame it on my head, not my heart. The code for tonight won't be available till tomorrow, but you will be able to go back or go on here and actually still get your CE for tonight. I will make sure that is up and in the comments or somewhere tomorrow, so y'all will have it. I'll post on LinkedIn so you'll see when it's available. You can just go get it, so you can make sure that you do get your CEU for it. I will make sure that's available for you. I appreciate all the time y'all take to come here and talk to me. Angela, I know you're a regular. Star, I see you here. Simone, I see you here. And I appreciate all y'all every single week for tuning in and making sure that we make this train successful and we keep it going, because I couldn't do this without the people that show up to make this a great time that we have here. So again, I appreciate you all. Next week, same time, I got some special plans. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as the week progresses, but definitely family, it's been a time to talk. Same time, same place next week. Love you all. See y'all soon. Thank you.
Trusted equipment, backed by service. Safer patient outcomes begin with the right equipment and the right partner behind it. That's why we created the MVP program. our commitment to being your most valuable partner in every procedure. When you start using IMP patient protective pads or SteriBump, our sterile surgical bump, you unlock more than just great products. You gain discounted repairs to keep costs down, free loaner equipment to keep you up and running, product discounts to maximize your investment, a 1-year new product warranty, and the exceptional service and support you've come to rely on, delivered by a team that's with you every step of the way. It's more than just a service plan. It's our commitment to stand behind you with best-in-class support, because reliable equipment means safer outcomes for your patients. That's the MVP standard. It's service when you need it, support that's seamless, and protection that's built in so you can focus on what matters most: patient safety. Talk to your IMP representative or visit impmedical.com/MVP to become an MVP today. Because when you invest in IMP, we invest in you.